Hey guys, this is Sports with Dylan. Today is the NHL draft, where we will get to see many teams complete their needs and many young players get to fulfill their dreams of making the NHL. So I figured, hey, why not make my first and only 2023 NHL mock draft? Not much to say here. Connor Bedard is a superstar. He is one of only 3 players, the other 2 being McDavid and Crosby, that are on his level coming out of high school. It is just remarkable how amazing Connor Bedard has been. You would be an idiot if you don't draft him number 1 overall. He is the number 1 overall pick. This is all locked in. I remember hearing about him for the first time from someone like 3 years ago and them just saying to me, we just got the next McDavid. And they were right. At this rate, Connor Bedard could easily play on the level with McDavid. Everyone talks about Connor Bedard being locked in already, but I think Adam Fantilli is also as close as you can get to being locked in as an NHL draft pick at 2nd overall. Because he is amazing. He's been overshadowed by Bedard, because Bedard's here, he's here. But he would be the number 1 overall pick in many past drafts, even though this just doesn't happen to be it. But the Ducks would still be coming out with an amazing player in Adam Fantilli. This one's kind of obvious. Leo Carlsson is a solid player, and I think he'll only get better as years come. So why not add some help for Johnny Gaudreau and Patrick Laine if you're the Blue Jackets, and push your offense to new heights once some of their younger players finally develop? This one might surprise you a bit more. Matvei Mishkov is a rather raw prospect. Many people have lower opinions of him because he could turn out to be an awful bust. But I quite like his raw potential. I think if it all goes right, he could become a superstar. He's not going to be a superstar immediately. It's definitely going to take him a couple years. But that's perfect for the Sharks, because they're not going to be competing immediately. But in a couple of years, then they'll have a superstar on their hands. I honestly think the Canadiens' offense is pretty well set with Nick Suzuki, Cole Caulfield, George Slafosky, and Kirby Dach. I don't think they really need to help that offense that much. What they need is more defense and goaltending. If that can hold together, then I think the offense can do this thing, and this team will be a playoff team in no time. So David Reinbacher can be the start of a very good defense for the Habs. The Coyotes have needs all over the board, so why not just go with the best player available to help Clayton Keller? Same boat as the Coyotes. You'll find this is a fairly common trend throughout this draft. The Flyers just need some player to help them, so why not go with the best player available? Capitals are actually in a similar position. They have massive glaring holes on both offense and defense. But why not get Ovi, a new young playmaker? Hopefully they do get to play together. I'm not sure. If Ryan Leonard takes a couple years to crack the NHL, it's possible he never actually gets to play with Ovechkin, but it would be great to see the two together. Zach Benson is rather undersized, which means that people don't have the highest opinions of him. But when he is on the ice, he is a superstar. And I think he'd be the perfect fit for Steve Yzerman. The Blues' offense isn't that bad. They have a couple playmakers already with Robert Thomas and Jordan Kyrou. But their defense is another story. So why not add a new superstar defender in Axel Sandin-Pellikka, and I'm sorry if I badly butchered that name, or any of the others in this mock draft. The Canucks are in a similar position, honestly. Their offense is pretty good with Elias Pettersson, JT Miller for now, Brock Besser for now, Connor Garland for now. Most of their players could get traded in the next 24 hours. We'll see. But Elias Pettersson is locked in, and that's what's important. But their defense, aside from Quinn Hughes, is desperately lacking. Especially after they released Oliver Ekman-Larsson. They don't have anyone there. Philip Hronek isn't bad, but I think they can do better. So that starts with Thomas Willander. Same thing as last time for the Coyotes. They just need the best player available, best value pick you can possibly find to help out this team sometime in the future. This Sabres defense is starting to become one of the best in the league with Rasmus Dahlin and Owen Power. But their offense, aside from Tage Thompson, is still lacking one more superstar playmaker. And I think they may have just gotten it. The Penguins are aging. It's no secret. But their defense is what is especially lacking. Chris Letang has now suffered 2 strokes in 10 years. Which means that I suspect he won't last much longer in the NHL. Even if Crosby and Malkin have a couple more years ahead of them, I suspect Letang's going to be the first to go. And their other defender, Jeff Petrie, is also getting up there in age, but has definitely shown signs of aging, unlike Letang so far. So it would be wise for the Penguins to invest in a new defenseman to help this team for the long run. The Predators need to get younger. You can't reverse time, obviously, although I bet you they wish they could. But most of their players are getting to the point where they just aren't themselves anymore because they've gotten up there in age. So they need to really do their best at investing in whoever's best just to make this team younger so that they can invest in their future, even though they're not going to compete for the next couple of years. The Flames' offense was desperately lacking this past season, and although they do have a couple of playmakers that are looking to make the NHL jump, why not grab one more so that a couple years down the road, they can have another superstar forward? The Red Wings just need to keep investing. They can get so many good players that this team will be unstoppable in a couple of years. This pick may surprise you a bit more, given that Josh Morrissey turned into a superstar this past season on the Jets defense. But the Jets offense isn't bad. Although this pick was created before the Pierre-Luc Dubois trade happened, I still stand by that, even though half their players could get traded in the next 24 hours, in which case it could be a different story. But for now, I think it would be wise to invest in a line mate for Josh Morrissey with Oliver Bonk. The Blackhawks are in the same position as many of the other teams right now. They just need to go for the very best player available to build up this team for the future. The Kraken have only ever had 2 first-round picks. So far, one of them just won the Calder, and another one looks like he could be making the NHL jump this year and could also turn into a superstar. Those are Matty Benier and Shane Wright. So why not test your luck again with Otto Stenberg and see if he can do the exact same thing? The Wild need to get some help for Kirill Kaprizov. Matt Boldy's starting to turn into that, but you still need more. Once again, Flyers just need to go for the very best player available when they can get it. This was a tough pick to make, because the Rangers seemingly have everything filled, especially with more prospects looking to make the NHL jump every year. But with Patrick Kane and Vladimir Tarasenko potentially leaving, then why not grab a new forward so that a couple years down the road, the offense can be just as powerful? I talked about the Predators already. They just need to get younger. So just keep making the best first-round picks you could possibly make, and that will help your team in the long run. The Blues already invested in their defense, so why not head back on over to the offensive side, where they can grab a new superstar playmaker to help replace the production of the lost Vladimir Tarasenko and Ryan O'Reilly. Once again, Sharks' only goal should be to get younger superstar playmakers. With Gabriel Landeskog missing the entire next season and potentially the rest of his career, and Nazem Kadri having less last year and JT Compher about to leave this year, it would make sense to invest in the offense to help out Nathan MacKinnon and Mikko Rantanen. The Maple Leafs have a couple of stars that could be looking to leave pretty soon, such as Ryan O'Reilly and Michael Bunting, so it would make sense to grab another star playmaker. Same thing as the last Blues pick. Since they already invested in defense, and they did lose a couple of key forwards this past season, then why not go and grab a new forward in the draft? The Hurricanes' defense is aging. Brent Burns is a superstar, but he's 39 years old. You can't expect him to keep this up for long. Jacob Slavin is young and a star, so he's all set. But they do have Brady Skjei and Brady Pesh, who could both be looking to leave pretty soon, which means that it would make sense to invest back in your defense to bring a new playmaker on board. This pick was only exchanged last night, which is too bad, because I actually had a really interesting pick set out for the Habs here. But now it's back to the Avalanche, where why not just stick to offense where you can grab even more star playmakers. And closing it off, we're back to defense, with the Golden Knights, who could use some new young defensive playmakers, given that their whole roster is getting up there in age. They did just win the Stanley Cup, but I don't think they have a shot at repeating anytime soon because of the age of the roster. So they've got to start building it up again so that they can repeat in a couple years down the road. That's all for now. We'll have to take a look and see how this turns out in a couple of hours. But for now, thanks for watching.